this video, I'm going to be teaching you the basics of kinetic theory of matter for your JAMB 2025 exam. After the end of this video, you'll be able to solve any question that comes out in your JAMB exam based on this topic. So let's get into the video real quick. Let's go. So as we all know, matter exists in three states: solids, liquids, and gas. And the focus of this video will be on the gas phase, this particular one here. And you know, in the gas, the particles in the gas are widely spaced apart, and you can see they are not as close as you have them in solids, and they are not as close as you have them in liquids. The distance between the particles are very far. They are wide apart. Okay, bearing this in mind, you understand that the gaseous state is the simplest of all the states. Now, how do you know if a substance is a gas? It's a simple test that you can always apply. If the normal boiling point, as in under normal atmospheric conditions, the boiling point of that substance is below room temperature, then that substance will be a gas. Okay, now the room temperature, when you hear room temperature is 25 degrees C. Room temp, when you say room temperature, is from 20 to 25 degrees C. But basically, in most chemistry questions, just take it as 25 degrees C. So if the boiling point of that substance, okay, under consideration, is lower than this 25 degrees C, the substance will be in the form of a gas. If it's above, it might be in the form of a liquid. Take for example, water. The boiling point of water is 100 degrees C. You can see 100 degrees C is way above 25 degrees C, which is just the normal room temperature, the temperature of your room. Since the boiling point of water is well above 25 degrees C, then that's why water appears as a liquid. When you place water in your room, it will be in the form of a liquid. Why? Because its boiling point, what can cause it to change its state or to boil? That temperature is higher than the normal temperature of your room. So when you have a substance that its own boiling point is lower than 25 degrees C, then that substance will be in the form of a gas. So they can ask you this kind of question, for example, in which of the following states is a substance that boils at 0 degrees C? So you can see the states that are given, so you can easily see that the answer is option B, which is the gas. So let's take the next part now. So under this next part, we'll move into the kinetic theory of gases in proper now. So the kinetic theory was proposed to account and to explain for the behavior of gases. Okay, if you want to have a general idea of how gases behave in a closed vessel, then you need to use what is called the kinetic theory of gases. It will help you to know how these gases behave in terms of the coercive forces between the particles and the energies that they give in and give out. Now this is a vessel here, as you can see, and you have some gas particles inside here. The way these gases behave when they are in an enclosed vessel like this, when they are covered in a tight space, the way they behave can be accounted for using what is called the kinetic theory of gases. Let's take a kinetic theory now and let's explain them one by one. So the first one states that a gas consists of a large number of tiny molecules moving at random and in straight lines without resting. That's to tell you that a gas, the number of particles in the gas are actually uncountable, and these particles, they are not at rest, they are moving. This one, for example, might be moving up like this. This one might be moving down. This one might be moving in this direction. It's a random movement. The movement is not, as in, it's not defined in a particular direction. So they move at random and they move in straight lines, not like in curved form. Gases move in straight lines. Take note of that. And they are not at rest. That's what this first postulate is telling you. Okay, now for the second one is the molecules collide with each other and with the walls of the container. So let's take a look at a sample particle here. This is particle A and this is particle B. Now, because the movement of these particles are random, a point will come where particle A and particle B will interact, or they will collide. So both of them will meet each other and like they'll strike each other at this particular point. So when they strike each other like that, they will move in different directions. When B hits A like this, it will bounce back and move in different directions like this. When this happens, it's possible for A to now hit the wall of the container and for B also to hit the wall of the container. So you can see that the particles collide with each other and they collide with the walls of the container because the movement of these particles is random. It's not predictable. Okay, it's random. It is not predictable. Let's take a third postulate, okay, which will help us to understand everything better. Now the third one is the actual volume of the gas molecules is very small and it's negligible compared to the volume of the container. That's to tell you that these particles are so tiny. If something has a volume, that means it occupies space. If you place a big, let me say a big ball like this is a big ball. this ball is inside this container. This ball here, it has a big volume. Why? Because it's occupying a big space. You can use something like maybe this square here to mark out the space that this ball is occupying. Since this ball is occupying a larger space, you say it has a larger volume. But now imagine that this ball is now tiny, like a small dot like this, a very small dot. Then that ball will be occupying a very small volume. Okay, the volume occupied by that ball will be very, very small compared to the volume of its container. That's to tell you that these particles are tiny. They are very, very, very minute and very, very small. That's what the third postulate is telling you. Now for the fourth one is telling us that during collisions, there are no attractive forces between the molecules. Okay, that is, the molecules are completely independent of one another. Now, look at this scenario here. When this particle A here and particle B, when they collide like this, when they hit each other, when they collide, there is no attractive forces between the molecules. As in, when they collide, they do not stick together. They don't join together like this. As in, they don't join. They stick, they bounce back, hit each other, and they move their separate ways. They don't stick and like gum together. You understand? That's because there's no attractive forces between the molecules. The molecules are completely independent of one another. Now, for the fifth one is collisions between gas molecules are perfectly elastic. That's to tell you that when A and B collide, when they collide like this, when they hit each other, they move in different directions. Okay, like I said earlier, they do not stick to each other. They move in different directions and they continue with that same speed. Like if A was going with maybe 10 meters per second, just an assumption, and B was coming with maybe 15 meters per second. After hitting each other, this B will also move in its own direction, another direction, with that same speed. A too will move with that same speed. That's to tell you that the collisions are perfectly elastic. They do not slow down. Assume it was inelastic, then these particles, after hitting each other, it will come to a point where maybe before the speed of A was like 15 meters per second, for example, and B was like 10 meters per second. If it were to be inelastic, this, after hitting each other, this A, instead of 15 meters per second, A will now have a speed of like 5 meters per second. The speed has reduced. That means A is trying to slow down. But that's not how it is. The particles do not slow down. They keep on moving at that same speed. That's why the collision is elastic. If the speed is slowing down, you say the collision is inelastic. But that's not how it is in gases, in gas theory. The collisions in gas theory are elastic. There's no loss of kinetic energy. That's just the meaning. They do not slow down. They move on with that same speed. Okay, now let's go to the sixth one. The sixth one is the average kinetic energy of the molecules is directly proportional to the absolute temperature. Now, when you hear anything like average kinetic energy, what should come to your mind is absolute temperature. Absolute temperature is different from normal temperature. Absolute temperature is the temperature in Kelvin. Like when you measure the temperature and you put K at the back, that's absolute temperature. But when you measure temperature and you just put degree C, that's just normal temperature. Now, to get this one, you have to add 273 to the answer. 273. Okay, so if you have a temperature of like 0 degrees C and you take it to Kelvin, then you just add 273 to it, 273. So 0 degrees C is the same thing as 273 Kelvin. So what I'm trying to say is that the average kinetic energy, the speed of these guys, the way they move and the way they collide with each other and with the wall of the container, the way they collide, the way they move around, it constitutes temperature. If they are moving very fast, the temperature will be high. The temperature is the absolute temperature, not just ordinary temperature. It's absolute temperature. So if they are slowing down, or maybe they are not moving too fast, then you say the temperature is also low, because they're directly proportional. The higher the kinetic energy of the molecules, the higher the absolute temperature. You can see that they are directly proportional. If they move very, very fast, temperature will be high. If they're not moving very, very fast, then temperature will be low. Okay, so keep that in mind. And the last one is that the collision of these particles with the wall of the container constitutes what is called pressure. These particles here, the way they hit this container, like when they hit it, this one will hit here, this one will hit here. As they are hitting the walls of the container, it gives pressure. Pressure is accounted for by the collision of the particles with the walls of the container. Take note of that. So those are the basic things you need to know about the kinetic theory of matter.